judgment has been handed down. Judge Phillip Loubser, of course, didn't go against his initial finding in terms of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana wanting that arrest in Tanzania being turned around, or rather declared as unlawful. He did say inside the courtroom now that he does not see any other court finding differently from what he has found in terms of that application. But I have here with me Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's legal representative, Machini Mutlong, who I'd like to bring into the conversation just to talk about the judgment that Judge Phillip Loubser has just handed down. This must be a real blow for you. What is going to be next?
Look, blow, I don't think so. But in terms of really procrastinating our destination, yes. We obviously we thought we had done enough to really get the outcome in our favor, so that this matter can really be taken to the Supreme Court of Appeal. We raised sharply a lot of issues, but among others, the issue of consent remains a sticky point, and it's disappointing that we find ourselves, in the same square that we were. But obviously, in terms of legal avenues at our disposal, we can still, approach the Supreme Court of Appeal on petition basis. But obviously, we are a creature of instructions. So what we're going to be doing is to take instructions from the client in terms of the next move, and then, act accordingly.
In terms of now the bail application, of course, she suspended her bail application in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. You also raised in the court papers the charges that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana is facing. Is there a likelihood that you might go back to the Magistrates Court for bail application, or you just going to proceed with the higher courts?
Look, we can't rule out that possibility. You'd recall when we were at the Magistrates Court, when we dealt with this issue of aspect of bail, we were quite very direct in terms of what our intentions are, and which is we reserved the right. We didn't abandon it per se, and until such time, and we informed the court then, our substantiation of the move that we took and the posture we took was largely based on the fact that we were to pursue this route. So we will take instructions from the client in as far as the bail application is concerned, and the next move, of course, So if the next move is to apply for bail, so be it. We will do that. So all I'm saying is it's still on the table. It's still part of options available and at her disposal in terms of, exploring.
Thank you so much, Ndate Machini Mutlong. I'd like to bring at this point Naledi Dikeledi Moeti, who is a legal analyst, just for her to give us an analysis of the judge's verdict today. What was the likelihood of Judge Phillip Loubser actually coming up with a different judgment from what he had previously?
Look, it's unlikely for most of the time for the judge who granted a decision to overturn his own decision. It's unlikely to do that. It's according to law, but you can overturn it. But it was not likely, like they say, he will overturn his own decision. But nevertheless, he's dismissed the matter, and then the defense will have to take the instructions, as they said, and then get to the another avenue of petitioning now the SCA, or the instruction might be say we are not going ahead, we'll do our bail application in magistrate court. It will depend on the instructions of the client of the defense, which is Ms. May Nandipha.
But what are their prospects of success should they decide to go to the Supreme Court of Appeal to petition this outcome?
Look, what I said is that it's a 50-50 thing. They might get granted that appeal in SCA due to the fact that, remember what the Judge Loubser has said, he created that we call it, that it cannot. So he created the loophole for the SCA to proceed. So if they get the instructions, they might get that, they might not get it.
Can you explain the loophole that he created? Is it the fact that he found that the arrest in Tanzania was unlawful, but because of consent then dismissed? Is that the loophole that you're talking about?
Yes. What he said is that yes, it is indeed a disguised one. However, there's a consent that has been given. Now, the question that has to be addressed is what is the consent? Was that consent obtained legally or illegally?
Okay, and then tell me now, with the bail application, of course, flight risk is one of the things that are considered, and the fact that Dr. Nandi Magudumana was arrested in Tanzania opens that window for her. What would be her chance of success if they decide to go back to the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court to apply for bail?
Honestly, I would say, on my view, because she was found with 4 passports in her possession, unstamped, she's a flight risk. It's not going to be a prospect of any success for her to be granted a bail.
But just unpack this one for me. Should the SCA then say, okay, we are granting you your leave to appeal, and it goes ahead and she gets the result that she wants, then it means there is nothing or no reason to hold her. Then what happens to the charges? Because she's charged on the basis that she came here. Do those charges then get removed?
Remember, she was charged after in Eden Airport. With our South African police, they charged her. If it's granted, then it will remove that, but the NPA and the SAPS will issue the warrant of arrest and reinstate all those charges again. Basically, she is definitely going to be arrested again.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. That was Dikeledi Mueti there, just talking to us about what are the prospects for Dr. Nandi Magudumana. Should her legal representatives take the matter to the Supreme Court of Appeal? You heard earlier Mashini Mutlo, who is the legal representative for Dr. Nandi Magudumana, saying that they have to take instruction from their client, who is still in the Bizamakate prison in Kronstadt, on whether they proceed to the Supreme Court of Appeal or they will take the matter back to the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court, where she has decided to suspend her bail application as a way to come here and plead with the court to consider her arrest in Tanzania.